Hey, this is Mark coming at you again with another video. And as I mentioned to you before, man, I was going to start the series on how to control your anger. I think it's very necessary because of all the violence, the killings in the inner cities, the mass shootings all over the place. So I wanted to come and give people an opportunity to use some of these alternatives. Before I get into that, man, I ask that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, like and share this video, man, and tell your friends about the video too, because I think it's very valuable. And comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the information that I'm about to share. As I was saying, man, there's a lot of violence, which I would consider a lot of it is unnecessary. You know, everything doesn't need a response. So let me tell you, this information can be used whether it's in a school, high school setting with teenage children, a college setting with, older young adults, on your job with all different kind of ages. It can be used in those different settings. So I want to just offer some information, and then just take it with a grain of salt. Some stuff you can use. As I tell students that I work with, man, if it don't apply to you, let it go by. The first thing I think that is necessary for us to know is, what are your triggers? And if you have a question, well, what are triggers? Triggers is anything that gets you mad, anything that gets you angry, anything that gets you upset. So you're going to have to learn your own triggers, man. You can't wait till you're in the heat of the moment and then try to figure out, what are my triggers? This is stuff you got to think about and talk about while you're calm and just really figure out you. Okay, the last time I was in a situation, I noticed that when a guy disrespected me, example, that I got angry. So for you, if disrespect, certain kind of disrespect is a trigger for you, you need to know that. Let me break down the two types of triggers, right? There's two types of triggers. One of them you don't have much control over. But the second one I'm going to get into, you have all the control necessary to make a difference. So let's go to the first part. The first part of a trigger, man, is external. The trigger came from somebody else. Anything that person did to you that got you upset. I was in a setting and somebody raised their hand to ask a question. Go ahead and speak, that I said. Sir, he looked at me. Now, as a grown man, I hear that and be like, you affected by somebody looking at you? But yes, for that individual, that was a trigger for him. Somebody looking at him. So in his mind, he got to understand that when somebody look at him in a certain kind of way, that's a trigger for him. You may not be able to stop everybody from looking at you that certain kind of way, right? But the second part of triggers are internal. It's going on inside of you. So the internal part is how an individual plays with that in his mind. So back to the example, when a guy looked at him and he became angry, inside of him, he probably thought or interpreted it a certain way. He trying to do this. He think I'm soft. Ain't no telling what was going on in his mind and internally. So what that individual has to do moving forward is be mindful and be careful what he tell himself the very next time that he's dealing with a trigger. Somebody looked at him a certain way. Now you got to be able to tell yourself, because a lot of times people, they escalate. You think I'm soft, I ain't gonna let him do that. Instead of decreasing, man, de-escalating. So more often people escalate the situation instead of de-escalating the situation. So back when the guy looked at him, okay, he looked at you crazy. Let's say that he did. Internally, you cannot feed into that and say, oh, he think this or he think that, because that will only escalate. So the responsibility for that individual is monitor what you tell yourself. Don't jump to the negative that quick. Because if you don't go to the negative with it, you won't know it's a problem until the other individual says it's a problem. But a lot of times we make it a problem prematurely. So first, man, know your triggers. And yes, we may have a lot of triggers. We may have a lot of them, and we may not be able to list every trigger that we have. But I suggest that you list as many triggers that you have at the moment so that you can be prepared how to respond or what to do the next time you're confronted with that trigger. You can't control the external. You can't control what somebody, how somebody look at you, what they say to you, or even what they do to you. But you can control the internal, right? That's part of our self-regulation. We got to be able to control ourselves and regulate ourselves and manage the things that we do. So we cannot control the external. Let them do what they do, right? No, I'm not saying be nobody's punching bag. That's not what I'm saying. Let them say what they want to say. Let them look at you how they want to look at you. Okay. But be careful and be mindful and take responsibility on what you tell yourself. Those are your triggers. Now let's go to your cues. Cues are physical signs that your body is attempting to let you know that you're getting angry. I know a lot of young people, they ball their fists up because they're ready or preparing to get ready for whatever the next level may be. So at that moment, your body is yelling and talking to you by balling the fists up. Hey, Mark, be careful. You're getting angry. Monitor yourself, right? So what I had to learn that for me, every time that I found myself getting angry, I noticed that I was gritting my teeth because I was trying to hold that anger in. So when I find myself, even today, I'm gritting my teeth, I got to be very careful because at that moment, I need to try to de-escalate. I need to deal with my anger. I need to find what's next is anger reducers, but just hold on for a minute. So in class, we gone over a number of different cues, from somebody balling their fists up. Some people get quiet. Some people, their eye twitch. A tear may run down. Some people just pace back and forth. At that point, when your body is telling you that you get angry, now let me tell you the difference now. Is not to intimidate the other person, because that doesn't work. When I was young, we had people that they get mad, they turn to the Incredible Hulk, like, roar, and that was like a defense mechanism to try to scare off the other person. in some cases. It may not work with scared because it may hype them up as well. So once you learn your cues and your body is telling you, hey, Mark, hey, John, hey, Susie, be careful. You're getting a little angry. At that point, now this is when we go to step 3. And we deal with our anger reducers. Now we angry. So what are we going to do to reduce it? Because we see what happens when we don't reduce our angers. It escalates and somebody end up getting hurt, shot, killed, mass shootings. I'm mad with the world. Ah! And they just take it and just, because you angry or because I'm angry, I do not have the right to harm anybody. So I got to deal with myself, man. That's the main part in controlling our anger, is to deal with ourselves. So you got to figure out, because this is not no one size fit all. What are some anger reducers that will work for you? Some people think about their family. Now, if I do this, I get locked up. You may want to think about your consequences, your kids, your mom, your loved ones, my girl, my brothers. Whatever it takes for you to put in your arsenal of anger reducers. And I say select as many anger reducers as possible. One of my ones that I use is remove myself from the situation, man. Because before I'm under control, I got to remove myself, because the other person may be talking. I may be still in my head, and then I might hear something or think I hear something, and boom, there I go retaliating. For the textbooks, man, they teach counting backwards to 10, or you can count by 2s, 2, 4, 6. Pleasant imagery. That means thinking of a good, positive place where you may have went to the beach and had some positive thoughts when you was around your family. Come up with as many anger reducers as possible. So when you face with the situation, and this should not be done on site. This should be planned before. When you're thinking about how you're going to control your anger the very next time, then you should be coming up with as many anger reducers as possible. This ain't no one size fit all. I want y'all to comment below also, man. Let me know some of the anger reducers. Let me know some of the anger reducers that you came up with in the comment below, man. Because some of your ideas may be something that somebody else can use. This will conclude the first part. This will conclude the first part, man. I have the second part coming soon. Thank you for your participation, for listening, for watching. Thank you for sharing your feedback in the comments section. If you have not done it already, man, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, like and share this video, man. And let's make a difference in this world. Let's make a difference. Why? Because we're making a difference in ourselves. Take responsibility for yourselves. Make right choices. Thank you for listening, and y'all be safe out there. Peace.